Okay, welcome to Pop TV Talking the Line. Today we are looking at Lunarin, and we are talking to Linda Ong about the album launch of Due coming up on the 1st October, on Friday, Children's Day. I hope you enjoy this, because we certainly did. Thanks. Okay, Linda, thanks for spending the time here with us today.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. Could just ask just a few questions about the release of Due. I mean, it's been about a month, right, since it was released. Mm-hmm. And how do you feel the album has been received by fans as well as critics?
I think there's a difference between how, well, I wouldn't use the word fans, but I think people who like the music and have always come for our shows,
Okay.
generally very good positive feedback from them, which I'm grateful. Of course, now and then they will, make some comments about the production and about the drums and etc., which I think is inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the good thing is I think they sort of see the effort behind the songwriting and the effort we put in to sort of make it a cohesive album, and they get that, they get the message.
Okay.
So for that I'm grateful. I think for the critics it's a bit more touch and go. My sense is, and you can't fault them, because I think at the end of the day we do play music that's very niche based. Definitely not your cup of tea. And I think if you write for example, mainstream paper or mainstream magazines, it may not be an album that you would straight away be able to relate to, or you will not be able to recommend to your readers. So I think when it comes to critics, it really depends on the background that the critics come from. So in a sense, the reviews have been quite diverse.
Yep.
I must say, but which is fun too.
Yeah.
I think to see how, it just shows how subjective music can be, and how different people can just relate to it differently. So, but overall, it's been quite a good feeling about the reception so far.
Okay. With all the events and activities in the past month that relating to the release of the album, can you share or talk about a positive experience related to the release, that something that you always remember?
I think it's interesting to sort of, when the album is released, all the people that we know in the scene are sort of giving us their support. Everybody will be yourself, for example, and Pat,
Yep.
and Joe, and even Daniel Susun and stuff. It really is very heartening for us, because we are not a band that's of a certain pedigree, but we've always been in the scene and always been very influential, and we've been away for 4 years. And to have an album out and to have everybody showing you all this support and all this love is, I think, very overwhelming for me, especially when I've reached this stage, and at this age when you start to question, why are you still doing this? And
Which is our next question.
and I think one of the positive things is, after, for example, playing the gig at home club, or even something as basic as, for example, getting certain reviews in the papers, and friends coming up and sending you messages and sending you words of encouragement, that makes me realize that it is a very close-knit, tight community.
Yes.
that gives a lot of moral support to each other, something which I never really appreciated when I was younger. But now that I'm older, it's something that I really do appreciate. It's something that I did not envisage when we released the album. It was more like,
Okay.
just get the album out, and let's see how people take to it. But the support that we got was something that I did not sort of foresee, which is a great thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this is the Fuzzbox. Yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about what this is to the people out there?
I have not seen this for years and years and years, and oh wow, it's even printed for a printer. This is actually the last release that Fuzzbox ever released. This was released back in 01, is it?
I think somewhere around there.
I think I was 23. I was 23. Fuzzbox was a band that the guys and I were in previously, before we formed Lunarin. But it was a 4-piece band, so it was us and this other guy called Sean Gross. And Sean was a singer, so all I did back then was I only played bass. I did sing in a few songs, but I wasn't the lead. And so Fuzzbox had 2 demo cassettes, which I've since lost. And we've got this CDR release, which I've also since lost. So. and yeah, so
I mean, it's just basically to illustrate that that you guys have been around for some time,
right.
as far as the local music scene is concerned. So my question really is, from that time, let's say, early part of the decade to now, what has changed and what has remained the same?
Interesting question, because we, in the course of planning for a launch, we sort of revisited all our old material. And of course, sometimes somebody would be naughty and just play a fast box on the iPhone and say, check this out. And even just playing the Chrysalis, it was interesting to play. I think there is still a similarity between Lunarin and Fastbox. And I think that would have been the rhythm section. I think when we listen back to Fastbox, there was already a certain, albeit immature, attempt to sort of try out weird rhythmic kind of breakdowns and parts. Of course, not the same as what we're doing now, but it was sort of there. This need to play syncopated riffs and to experiment with rhythms. But the other difference between Fastbox and Lunarin is, I think, first of all, with Lunarin, we sort of push the boundaries a bit more and say, why should we always play in 4/4 time? Why can't you just try something different? And then it became, hang on, this part really needs to change the tempo, but who says you have to stick to the same tempo throughout the whole song? So it sort of just expanded from there. It became no holds barred. It's just the three of us anyway. If two of us can accommodate, the third person just has to keep practicing until he fits us.
So let's talk a bit about the launch itself. 1st October, Children's Day.
Yep.
At the Arts House. Play then, right? If I'm not
Yes.
wrong. Play then,
Play
yeah.
then.
Children's Day, play then. Makes a lot of sense. So how have you guys been preparing for the launch?
We're at that stage now where we're at the pre-show panic mode. It's when you wake up in the mornings and you go, oh, it's a week away, I don't know what to wear, that kind of a panic mode. I think we should be able to wing it. I think. I'm leaving it to the drummer is the one that is supposed to be coordinating everything and getting all the props done. Last I checked, they were not done, but I shall leave it to, I shall trust and I shall have my faith. But I think the emphasis this time around is, I think we are just going to focus more on the music and make it like a full-out rock show. This time we're just not going to worry too much about props. I'm not going to break into poetry halfway or have some weird dancers do weird choreographed moves. I think we're just going to have a proper concert and focus on the music and the songs. And I've been told that I should speak more to the audience, but I mean, I don't think people are paying money to watch a stand-up comic act or something. But I think, it's hard for me to predict how it would be. Our first launch, we only had one album, and there were just very few songs. So back then we had opening acts and we had people helping us. This time around, we had definitely a wider catalogue to play with. So it's just going to be us, and I think the drummer is planning some weird stuff, even though personally I have no idea what it is, but I hope it works out. So yeah. Just
to wrap up, do you have any message for, I won't use the word fans, but for the people out there who love Lunarin?
Am I supposed to look at the camera?
You don't have to if you want.
Well, I just really want to thank these people. I mean, I think we, back then when we were starting out, we were 16, hanging around in school, staying back late in recess time and say, let's just form a band because it's cool. And look at where we are now. And I really can't ask for anything more. And to have all these people who actually bothered to go and buy the CD and to come for our shows, to even buy our t-shirts. I mean, it's something that still, to me, I still can't fathom it. I still can't grasp the idea that people would be willing to do that. So I just want to say thank you for the support, and I hope we will never disappoint them. I hope we won't let them down. Whatever that we'll do, we will always put in 101%, because at the end of the day, we don't deserve this support. So we have to try our best to earn it. So that's about it.
Okay.